Hi there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today. This is our series where we empower, inspire, and educate you through life's transitions to reinvent the life of your dreams, living intentionally the I Have Today way, filled with passion and purpose. And on this series, I bring you experts, influencers, authors, coaches, leaders, CEOs, who have gone through their own transitions in life and come out on the other side successful. And they share their stories with us and how they were able to transform and reinvent their own lives. So today, I'm really excited to come to you because I have a very special guest, a beautiful woman who's become a friend of mine. She's just an outstanding woman. Her name is Rebecca Zung, and she is known as a divorce transformation strategist and America's transformational I'm totally screwing this up. Sorry. Hang on. America's divorce transformation specialist. Sorry about that. Anyway, what she's going to share today is her story of how she transitioned out of doing what she was doing and breaking free from her marriage and empowering herself and educating herself and turning her life around, and has catapulted herself into what she's now doing today to really help women and people in general on a mass level. And when I decided to have her on the show, I wanted to have her on for a couple of reasons. And one of the reasons was this is about empowering you, educating you, and inspiring you. And I thought we've had a lot of topics over the last couple of weeks about love and marriage and relationships. And we had Todd Krieger on talking about how to divorce-proof your marriage. But then we also had Carol Soloway on here who's the author of Sex Happens, and we talked about how some relationships are not meant to last forever, and we touched on that. So I thought Rebecca would be so great to have on the show now as a sort of segue into, well, if divorce is something that is in your future and going to happen for you, what better way to go into it than being empowered and armed with the tools that you need to really protect yourself legally, and just know what your rights are. Take the confusion and the fear out of it, and to go into it with a greater level of clarity and confidence and awareness. So like I do each week on this show, we talk about what the theme is. So the theme this week is how to empower yourself legally. And we always set an intention. And this week's intention is, I have today to transform my life. So what I also do is I talk about how this topic relates to you and how you can empower yourself with either 3 tips, steps, ways, strategies to create a higher level of awareness for you, to empower yourself, whether it's legally, whether it's a marriage that's heading for divorce or any other relationship. It could be a business relationship or a partnership that's ending, and how to really empower yourself in that situation, or any sort of relationship where there might be, you have legal rights. And the thing is, lack of self-worth could cost you a lot. And I don't know if any of you out there have had any experiences in your life where not knowing your self-worth has devalued you in some way, and maybe you've been taken advantage of in some way, or felt like you were taken advantage of in some way because of it. So it becomes really important to know just how valuable you are and how worthy you are to live your life fully, authentically, and protected, and have self-preservation. So the first thing that I wanted to say is that way one is to really know how important it is to invest in yourself. We invest so much of our money in everything else, whether it's the bills or the house or the kids or the things. And so many people do not spend money on themselves. Invest in yourself, in your legal rights, in your personal development, in your health, in your education. So many of you put yourself on the back burner, and I will tell you through my own divorce and my own situation that I would not have been able to come out of it on the other side the way I did had I not had help and support. Not only did I have a great attorney that I respected and trusted, but I also had a coach. And while I am a coach, and I talk about coaches a lot, maybe it's not a coach for you, maybe it's a mentor, but I will tell you that having that coach to help me with the emotional piece of it really helped empower me and let me know what I was worth, what was worth fighting for. So I want to implore you to give yourself permission to invest in yourself, okay? The second thing I want to say is that you need to honor your feelings, whatever those feelings are. I've been talking about emotions a lot lately with a heightened awareness about depression, anxiety, and suicide, that so much of levels of self-worth and the areas where you could really be affected by this is because you're not communicating with people and you're not honoring your feelings during this time. Now, whatever the transition is, whatever the breakdown is, and whatever the relationship that's falling apart, there are a lot of emotions that go on with it. There's feelings of hurt, of anger, of rage, of frustration, of guilt, of shame, all of those emotions, even if it's not something that's directly from us, our fault, we still have those feelings of guilt and shame too. So you really need to honor your feelings through it. All right. And now the third thing I want to leave you with is this, that however painful the experience is and was for you, that it had purpose behind it. It definitely had purpose. And Rebecca and I are going to talk about this a lot, about her story, my story, and how we are the women that we are today because of what we went through, even though we couldn't see it at the time and how difficult it was. Her story is fantastic. So I want to tell you that even if it's painful, or it was painful, there was purpose behind it. And you might not know it now, you might not know it yet, but you will know it at some point. So that's what I want to leave you with today. And now I want to bring on Rebecca Zung. So come on in the studio, Rebecca Zung. Yay. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Let me introduce her. Let me read her beautiful bio. So, divorce transformation strategist and best lawyer in America honoree, Rebecca Zung empowers savvy, discerning, and insightful people to break free and be transformed in all aspects of their lives. She is the author of the best-selling book, Breaking Free, a step-by-step divorce guide for achieving emotional, physical, and spiritual freedom. For those of you who are watching, here's a copy of the book. Her book has been endorsed by John Gray, which is so fantastic. She is a major media contributor. She's very comfortable speaking in front of intimate groups and arenas of thousands. She's been on national television, radio shows, and she talks a lot about empowering ways to take life by the tail and win. She's appeared on in Forbes, Newsweek, Time, Dr. Drew, NPR Talk Radio, Good Day New York, and CBS Bay Sunday, among others. As America's divorce transformation strategist, she inspires and empowers everyone to achieve outcomes beyond their wildest dreams. So that is so impressive. I'm so excited to have you here. We've had this theme going related to relationships, and I really wanted to have you on because your story is fantastic, and the work that you're doing now to really help and empower others, particularly women, through this transitional time that's very, very painful, and very confusing. Mm-hmm. And you've created, obviously, your book and other tools to really help mitigate that and really help make it a smoother transition for them.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of highlight, I loved your introduction and the things that you were saying in the beginning. And, the thing about divorce is that there's something that I call the divorce paradox, which is that during the worst, most traumatic time of your life, it's, way at the top of all of the most traumatic things that could happen to a person.
Right.
You have to make the most critical decisions of your life.
Yes.
Somehow. And so you mentioned a coach and you mentioned do something to get yourself together, because you have to make these decisions about your money, your children, your home, your business. And how can you make these decisions when you can't even think straight? You can't eat. You're in trauma survival mode.
Right.
And so the only way that you're going to be able to make these decisions, which become the foundation of your new life, by the way, is to make sure that you have a strong support team around you.
Yes.
So the work that you're doing, the work that I'm now doing as well, is so critical for people at this stage in their lives. Really critical.
It is. And the thing is, we put ourselves out here all the time. I mean, on a regular basis, we are doing this work. And I just want to pivot this just a little bit, bring you in a little closer. And because we discovered through our pain what our purpose was. And it's a very vulnerable thing to be putting ourselves out there, but we know from firsthand experience how valuable it is to be doing this. And it's really exposing us and offering the services, and it's our commitment, but it's your commitment out there to reach out and tap into these resources. That's why we're here doing this stuff. And nobody does it alone. If we could, we would, but we don't. And the more support you surround yourself with, the better you're going to come out of this experience.
Right. And I love the way that you use the word investment too.
Yes.
Because, you can't look at it as money being spent or it's a waste or whatever. I mean, it's an investment. It's an investment in yourself and your future. And as I said, many decisions are made in the middle of a divorce that people end up regretting because they're made from anger, resentment, guilt, you name it. And especially women tend to not want to look bad. They don't want to look greedy. They don't want to look, I'll just take, this or whatever, or they don't want to fight. A lot of it sometimes is that they give up.
Right.
Because
they feel so emotionally beaten down.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and then those are the decisions that people end up regretting, and they feel taken advantage of, and that sort of thing. And so, so that's part of the reason why I wrote my book in the first place. So, the whole first third of my book is all on emotional freedom and how to get that emotional freedom. And I put that before the legal part of the book because that's the part that people need to focus on before they can even make those decisions.
I completely agree. That's why, everything that I do, I focus on mindset first. When I, enroll a client and, they're going through transitions too, I say, well, first we have to do all the mindset work. Then we can build your businesses. We've got to be able to do that first. So you're right. The emotional part is so, so, so important. And it gets put to the side, it's devalued in a lot of ways. So, all right. Well, you didn't just get here to this point. So you had a story too. So please share your story.
Yeah. We had an opportunity to chat a little bit before we came on the air here. And I got married at 19 the first time. And I had 3 kids by the time I was 23. At the age of 29, I realized the marriage wasn't going to make it. I probably realized several years before that, if I'm being honest. Right. But it was like when I finally, had the courage to do it.
Yes.
And I really had no money. I was a teacher. I was making $31,000 a year. Now, granted, this was 20 years ago, but it was still not very much money even back then. And I thought, how am I going to support these kids? So the University of Miami, I was living in Florida at the time, and the University of Miami had a program at night which they don't even have anymore, but I applied and got into their night program and was able to, I mean, my days were crazy. I was teaching during the day. I got out by 2:00. I was home with the kids till 6. Their dad, my ex-husband, would take care of them, put them to bed, and I would go to school from 7 to 10. I would study till 2 in the morning and get up and do it again.
Wow.
And I did that for 3 years. It was a whole lot younger in those days. But I didn't see it as transformation at the time. I didn't see it as, oh, this is going to be so positive, and someday this is going to be a great story to tell people about my own transformation story.
Right.
I saw it as survival.
Yes.
I saw it as, you know, it was very hard.
Right.
Lots of tears, lots of moments of feeling like giving up.
Yeah.
And this is too hard. And I didn't have any money. I went to school 100% on student loans.
Right.
And even took out student loans to live on.
Right.
As well. So, I mean, I had no help other than my ex-husband would watch the kids at night.
Right.
Other than that, that was it. And I met this woman who was one of the top divorce attorneys in Florida at a dinner when I was in my 3rd year of law school. And we had all this stuff in common. She was also half Chinese. She'd also been divorced. She'd also had kids. And we had all these crazy things in common. And she said, come work for me. And the rest is history. And from there, I ended up writing the book and going out on my own and becoming, you know, top 1% divorce attorney. But surely I could never have known that.
Oh, no.
Back in the day at all.
Right. So you're through that pain, you really became the expert in this because of your own life. And
absolutely. And then I have helped thousands along the way.
Right.
And by the way, I did meet my husband, my current husband in law school. We've been together 20 years now. And we have a 16-year-old together. So, you know, had I stayed in the marriage that wasn't happy,
right,
that was basically, you know, I don't want to say loveless, but it was loveless. I mean, it wasn't like he didn't beat me. I think that's harder sometimes for people.
So let's talk about that, because that's a really important point. Mine didn't beat me either, but there were key elements missing. And you're not going crazy if you think I'm not happy. And why aren't I happy? Because looks like I should have everything. It looks like this is everything I thought I wanted. Right.
Right.
And right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting. There was a song, this is going to sound maybe corny or something, but there was a song by Kenny Loggins called The Real Thing. And I read, while I was deciding whether or not to leave my first husband, that he had written the song when he was leaving his first wife and getting remarried. Mm-hmm. And it's a song written to his daughter. And he's basically saying, we didn't want you to think that this was an example of a loving relationship, right, that this would be all you want for yourself.
Right.
And I remember going, that's it.
Yes.
I don't want my children to think that this is to settle for this.
Yes.
And so that was really kind of like the pivotal moment for me. I thought, okay, I'm doing this because this is not a marriage.
Right.
And I remember thinking, well, I don't want to really be alone, but I'm basically alone anyway in this marriage, but I'm resentful because I'm alone and you're here.
Right.
But at least if I'm alone, I'm actually alone.
Right.
You know, right. That was kind of how I thought about it at the time.
I totally know that feeling. I never felt more alone than I did in that relationship. And then once I was actually on my own, it was actually
better
choice. Yeah. And
yeah,
that there's power to that.
Exactly.
And then you learn to really love yourself and accept yourself. All right. I want to touch on one thing, several things that you said, but one thing that really stood out at 29 years old with 3 kids, you went to law school and changed your life. You made it work. This is the thing about successful people. They don't have any more time than we do. They make it the time. And so you invested in yourself and in the time to go to law school, took out loans, did whatever you had to do. And look at you now. And
you know, I want to say something about that, because I had a lot of naysayers.
Yes.
And I want to touch on that, because there are going to be naysayers in your life.
Yes.
And I had people say, oh, there's so many people going to law school, nobody's getting jobs.
Right.
And, you know, what are you doing that for? Shouldn't you be taking care of your children? You know, the whole guilt thing.
Right.
And I thought, well, somebody's going to get jobs out of law school. I mean, why wouldn't it be me?
That's right.
And I thought, well, I see a default future here.
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to get better unless I make a change.
Right, right.
And so I would say, if you do want to do something, for all of you out there who want to make a change, just close your ears and put the blinders on and focus on where you want to go. And there's always going to be naysayers.
Right, right. I couldn't agree more. And I'm so glad. And you said something else that I'm going to touch on later towards the end about, you know, if you want to make a change, you have to make the change. You have to decide to do it. What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you in all of this?
Well, I recently have a challenge that's fresh on my mind, and that is that I recently transitioned again. I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently.
No, you're evolving.
Yes. So I sold my practice last summer to two partners who I'm still working with, and I still have a practice in Florida, but I moved to Los Angeles and launched a new business, which is Breaking Free from Divorce Incorporated, where I provide divorce tools, resources, videos for people who are contemplating or experiencing divorce. So they can go online, buy my programs, my tools, my resources, which will cut the cost of their divorce and also empower people, give them the knowledge. So much of the fear and the anxiety around divorce comes from not knowing.
Right.
And just, your whole life is up in the air.
Right.
So
this is a fantastic tool. So we're going to put a link to her site up here to get access to Rebecca's site and the program, right?
Yes. So breakingfreefromdivorce.com is the site. But if you would like for your viewers,
yes,
I'm offering a special deal, which is a free copy of my book, which Diane was so gracious to show earlier. That you just cover a small shipping charge, and you just go to breakingfreethebook.com. So breakingfreethebook.com, and you can get your free copy of the book.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And then you said something else that I wanted to touch on, that you didn't really know what you were doing. You were just doing it for survival. You never projected out into the future about what is this all for? Someday I'm going to look back on this. Like, those thoughts aren't there. And so I want to highlight that, because most of us, even today, we were talking today, don't know what we're doing. Truly, we don't know what we're doing. We're doing it. We're surviving. Life is today. It's all about I have today, and living intentionally in the present moment, living in gratitude and appreciation for all the gifts and the blessings that you have right now. But you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And at 29, you did this and changed your life. It doesn't matter what age you are, because it is such a state of mind. And, I say this every week. I might have even said it already today, that time and money are an illusion. It's such an illusion, and they are not outside of us. It is within our control. So if you are feeling like you're stuck in a relationship or a partnership or, a friendship or something where it's not serving you anymore and you want to make a change, whether that is a marriage or it is a career like you and me, that you get to decide. You get to decide. No one is going to give you permission to live your life to the fullest. It's got to come from within. It really does.
Yeah, and I don't know if you get into, spirituality or anything like that, but, I really believe that once you just decide, there's a redemptive power in that,
Yes.
in the sense that all of a sudden things start shifting in your world, and the universe starts lining up to get behind you and make it happen.
It does. Well, yes, and I talk about it all the time. Big fan of the law of attraction and manifestation, and that when you make a decision and you make a shift and you move that negative energy, you open up the space for the positive energy and the abundance to just start flowing into your life. And you don't have to, you really don't have to worry about the how. You do have to trust, but you have to tune in and say, what do I want? What is important for me?
But get specific, because, if the universe will hear you say, but I don't have any money, well then,
guess what?
There you go.
You're not going to have any money. Right. Yes.
So, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or, whatever the excuses are, the universe will show you that to be true, because that's what you've ordered.
Yes.
So you have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Be careful with your words.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you want to share that maybe we haven't touched on?
I just wanted to just put it out there a little bit more about what I was doing. And that is that we were talking a little bit before we got started here, and that is, as a top divorce attorney, I had to charge a high hourly rate. I have to charge a high hourly rate in order for people to feel my value. And so, and it really is an inequity in this world, because the average divorce is a minimum cost of $30,000 an average. And there's a new divorce filed every 13 seconds in this country.
Wow.
And most people don't have that kind of money laying around. So what I'm creating is really a market disruptor, what I have created, so that people have access to knowledge, resources, videos, actual documents, things like that are quality. They're created by me, a top 1% divorce attorney, but because I can scale it, I can make it very, very affordable for everybody.
So I love that. So this is something you need to get. You or anyone you know in your life who's going through this or might be going through this, imagine having the checklist, all the tools, every question that you have answered, and even the ones you don't even know that you need to ask, have those answered too. That's what I love about this, the work that you're doing, is you've provided it all for them in this place. So in one central location for them to access, which nobody else is doing this.
No, and I have something for every budget. I mean, I have stuff that's like, $50, $200, $600, $1,000, for every budget out there. If you just want to buy, a little piece of it or whatever, but please don't do this alone. If you got a cancer diagnosis, or you wouldn't just fly blindly and trust that your doctor would know everything.
Right.
So don't do that here either.
Yes.
So
I love that. I love that. Okay. So I want to say that I love you, and I love having you on. I love having you as part of my inner circle. And I don't know if you guys are picking up on this. And if this is the first time you're here, thank you so much for being here. I Have Today with Diane Forster. If you are coming back, I want to say welcome back. And if you've picked up on, you don't have to watch these in order, but we really have been going with the theme here, and we've been focused on relationships, love relationships, romantic relationships, relationships in general, keeping them together, when they separate, what happens. So all of, I consider you part of my fantastic tribe of resources for people. So,
and I feel the same way about you, as you know. I mean, you guys aren't obviously present when we have our private conversations, but the first few minutes we're always, "You're awesome." "No, you're awesome."
That's how you want to be. You want to be around people who lift you up like that and really support you in everything that you do. On the note, because I want to lead into to this, that the legal part of it is so important, as is the emotional and the mindset. And that's my area, and that's why I bring this to you. And because it is the emotional and the mindset, like we said earlier in the show, is the first critical piece in it. And so I created something for you as well to help you with that, wherever you are in your transition, called the 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose program, that we're going to have a link for here. And it is also free. And I will tell you that you, if you spend the first few minutes of your day doing something that's inspirational and motivational, you are going to set your day up for success. Hands down, you will. If you nurture yourself first, you will have so much more to give. You will feel so much more fulfilled. It's just going to create a whole lot more happiness in your life by nurturing you first. And that's why it's so important. And part of the frustrations that I hear and why I created this program, the 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose, is because of the lack of clarity and people feeling stuck. So they may not know that divorce is what they need or how to transition through this. So this program is designed to help you get really clear. What is your truth? You know, what are you passionate about? What's your purpose? What is your mindset? What is meaning in your life? And all of those things. So I created it for you as well as another tool. And again, it's free. Like Rebecca's book is free. That we offer these resources for you. You have to step up and actually commit and get in there and take a look at yourself and take that action step to better yourself, because I think you said it so beautifully. If nothing's going to change if you don't change it, you know? So that's why it's imperative that you do this, because you're just going to come out of it in 10 short days having a better understanding of your values and who you are and what it is you truly want. So it's easy and it's fun and it's free. And what better way to really honor and gift yourself something than something that's going to give you so much benefit. And that, again, that's an investment in yourself. That just doesn't cost you anything. So anyway, it's free for a limited time. So click on the link and we'll get you set up right away. You can find out information there. Well, I've loved having you on the show. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
No, just Breaking Free the book to get your book.
Yes. And
yes. Breaking Free from Divorce is, and RebeccaZung.com.
Yes, I was going to say
my main website.
Will you spell it for them?
Oh, RebeccaZung.
So RebeccaZung.com and Breaking Free from Divorce and her beautiful book. I can't wait to read it. She just gave it to me. Thank you so much. All right. So again, don't forget that our intention today is I have today to transform my life. So wherever you are in your life, someday and one day never come. The moment is now. It's today. So honor yourself and gift yourself and invest in yourself. I'm Diane Forster. Thanks so much for being here. I love you madly. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.